This is the Midway region, a Pokemon region based on the Midwest. And today, in this video, we will be continuing our journey looking through all the Pokemon types. And today's type is the ground type. For anybody wondering, at the time of this video, we have explored all three starter types of grass, fire, and water. After the ground type will be the electric type. But let me know in the comments below what type you think you want to see next. And make sure to like and subscribe while you're down there. It helps with making more of these videos. So, let's get right into it. Let's start off with this little guy. So, I knew I wanted to make a groundhog Pokemon, and I was trying to think, what could I do to make it more interesting? So I thought of the idea of a groundhog using its burrow as a golf hole. And so, I decided to create a golfing groundhog. This is Golpher, the putter Pokemon, and a grounded normal type. Golfers are found all over the grasslands of Midway. They spend their times digging holes to live in, but also to practice their aim. They'll set up courses for other golfers to use, and with their paws, they can hit the dirt balls that they make to try and make it into the holes with as least amount of hits as possible. In a previous video, I turned sports teams from around the Midwest into Pokemon, and for the state of Indiana, I wanted to go for the Indy 500. So, I decided to make a regional Varoom. This is Midway and Varoom, a pure steel type and the big block Pokemon. If you see here that this information layout is already completed, that means this Pokemon has already had its first appearance in an older video, so keep that in mind moving forward. Now, you might be wondering, if this is a video about ground type Pokemon, why is there a pure steel type? That is because giving a Midway and Varoom the Peat Block item will make it evolve into Midway and Revavroom, off-road form, a steel and ground type. This form of Revavroom is much heavier than its Paldean counterpart and has a strong suspension to boot. And because of this, it can easily move over any type of terrain. With its new ability, All Terrain, it doesn't take any of the negative effects that come with entry hazards or terrain. Next up is Dreglass. I was requested to make a sea glass Pokemon, and I wanted to make this a small pile of sludge with some sea glass that it has made into glasses. So, this is Dreglass, a water and ground type. This Pokemon moves around at the bottom of the lakes looking for glass that it can shape into glasses. Dreglass are naturally nearsighted, so they use the glass to see. It also helps them see in the dark and murky waters. They will gather together and compare the glass they find. Ooh. Giving Dreglass the decorative bottle item will allow it to evolve into Mosaic. Still a water and ground type, Mosaic use their abundance of sea glass to not only try and create a face, which they think are cute, but tends to look more creepy, but also to impress the Dreglass that look up to it. Both Dreglass and Mosaic made their first appearance in Midway's water type video, so if you want to see them in their debut, as well as the other water types found in Midway, go check out that video. After this one, of course. It can be found in the Midway by Type playlist. That being said, let's take a look at a new Pokemon. I wanted to make a bug and ground type. We already have one with Nincada, but as soon as it evolves into Ninjask, or Shedinja for that matter, it loses the ground typing for the flying type, and the ghost type respectively. Because of this, I wanted to make a solid bug and ground type. So, this is Buzzdauber, a bug and ground type. This Pokemon uses every part of its body to move through the ground. Some say Buzzdauber are able to move through the earth, just as a Pokemon like Beedrill can move through the air. These Pokemon will build their nests underground, so if you come across a hole in the ground and you hear what sounds like buzzing, be careful not to disturb their nest, otherwise you might get swarmed. This next Pokemon also comes from the video about turning sports teams into Pokemon. This is Tearriert, a pure ground type and the dusty Pokemon. This Pokemon was bred to dig into Pokemon burrows, and because of that, through the generations, it has grown in part with the dirt that it works with, adding the dirt and the dust to create a matted, tough, and stratum-like fur. Though don't be fooled. Despite how bulky it might look, it's rather quick. Last but not least is a brand new Pokemon to Midway. This is Rotundillo, an ice and ground type. Rotundillo are actually new to the Midway region and have only recently been found here. There are tons of Rotundillo found to the south of Midway, but recently they've actually been able to adapt to Midway's harsh winters and have gained the ice typing. Rotundillo can be found rolling around in the snow to build up their armor, and they aren't afraid to get a little dirty while doing it. Next up, there is a character I want to introduce that isn't a Pokemon. This is Roland Duke. He is a car mechanic found in the Midway region, but on his off time he can be found mudding up north in the rural zone. Take a look here. This is his glid card, aka a gym leader identification card, meaning Rolly here is Midway's own ground type gym leader. Every gym leader here in Midway is required to wear their glid cards at all times, because they are required to be able to be challenged at any time. That being said, the gym leaders here are also required to work a job outside of being a gym leader. Battle Rolly at work and you'll get yourself a classic one-on-one gym battle, and maybe some angry customers who want their car to be worked on. But battle him on his off time when he's out mudding and you'll have yourself a unique battle experience. Let's take a look. Getting to the mudding area, some of the trucks will drive around creating a battlefield, and then surrounding you, keeping you locked in for the battle ahead. The battle begins, and in this case, it's a double battle. The biggest hindrance in this battle is itself the battlefield. Being that the battlefield is made entirely by mud, using a certain type of attacks can have effects on the field. Using a water type attack will make the mud deeper and will lower the speed of any Pokemon on the field that isn't a ground type. Using an ice type move will harden the mud and stop any Pokemon from getting their speed lowered. However, because of this, ground type attacks will become much stronger, since the ground you're standing on has become tough. Lastly, using a grass type move will root the ground together. This will allow all ground type moves to hit flying types, and will act like a rock type move when used against them. Using one of these types will change whatever effect has been set up previously. Do you think you could defeat Rolly? He's pretty tough, and he's afraid to get down and dirty. After defeating Rolly, you will be rewarded with the Mudder badge, and will be one step closer to being able to fight the Pokemon League. Let me know in the comments which one of these Pokemon revealed today would join your team, and let me know which type you want to see next. And keep those running shoes on, trainers!